The homeless have it hard. They typically have no income and no means to keep themselves afloat in a society where money rules supreme. Each one of them has a story, each one of them is human, and each one of them needs access to the basics of living, just like all of us. I'm Michael Murrell, and this is Humanly Homeless.
I lost my job Christmas 2008, then couldn't pay me rent on my flat 2009, January. And that's it, I was homeless. A lot of people look at you and think you've never done a day's work in your life, which I have. I've worked all my life. All my life.
You worked all your life? What did you work as?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineering?
Building and all that, you know, and then civil engineering. I worked on the Dartford Tunnel flyover, on the M11, you know, all big jobs, you know. I'll sleep down this tunnel sometimes, there's the church steps around the corner, I sleep there, you know, just anywhere. But the people that look at me and regard me like, you know, like I shouldn't even be on the planet, that makes me feel very... If I didn't have her, I'd probably throw myself in the Thames or something, but if I did that, what would happen to her?
The man's story moved me to discover more about the homeless and their way of life. I met Tessa outside Victoria Station.
I've been homeless now 4 years. I gave up my job and my home to move back in with my mum to care for her because she got lung cancer. She got rid of it after the operation and she went back in after 3.5 years with pneumonia. She died of a stroke due to morphine poisoning, 49 years old. They said that I should have been sensible and responsible enough to put my name on the tenancy agreement for at least 6 months before she died. And because I hadn't done so, I'd made myself intentionally homeless and they weren't legally obligated to rehouse me. New Year's Eve in the subway over there, I was awoken by this guy basically two guys kicking the crap out of me and both my teeth were knocked out, my front 2 teeth. A week later I was urinated on, you know, it's just, you get that. I'm a fighter, survivor, girl power.
It was clear to me each one had their own reason for being in the streets. I wondered just how traumatic things could be. How did you become homeless?
Partner died.
Your partner died?
Yeah.
What happened to her?
She died of alcohol. I was with my partner for 8 years. When she died, I lost the house and I went back to where I normally started when I was back on the street.
What have you done since your partner has passed away? How's it been on the street there?
Crap. Try to drink myself to death, try to top myself. I can't blame myself for it personally, because she was sober 4 years. Yeah, we've been together for 8 years. And then she was sober, and then 4 years later on she was drinking with me. Because I was drinking, she wanted to be with me. My life went down the levy. Never since then. I don't really care, mate. I'm just waiting for the final.
My mother passed away when I was 18, and ever since then it's hit me. But when she passed away, I was holding her in my arms, and I didn't realise that she died. I thought she was asleep, and I was going to shoot some people because we used to live on the farm, and under my mum's bed she had a pump-action shotgun. And I put 6 square cartridges in the shotgun, pump one, and as the alarm comes to the door, the first person to the door, I'm going to put a hole in you. But instead of that, I put a hole in the door, and then my sister came and got me out of the room. I started drinking heavy, I was in the streets. I had a flat. I don't want to go back to it because I couldn't face it without mum being there. And since then I've been on the streets.
After seeing how broken people's lives could be, I wondered whether you could live happily on the streets.
I didn't realise I was homeless for a number of years. I was kind of liking it, and I didn't feel homeless. I still don't feel homeless. You work 5 days out of 7. For what? To produce children that nobody even asked for? To fulfill something in your mind because you've been programmed by your parents and they just got programmed by their parents. And the whole thing is getting ridiculous, like, you know, because 5 out of 7 is a bad deal. If you sit back and imagine and look at someone else working 5 out of 7, yeah, and he has been rewarded, he's got a good marriage, he's got 2 nice kids, maybe that is Maybe that one, if it succeeds, nothing happens. Like his marriage, he doesn't get divorced. His kids don't turn into junkies. His life doesn't fall asunder. Maybe, but it's an awful price to pay, isn't it? Even for the success, 5 out of 7, isn't it? You're only here for so many days on the earth, you know.
What's your daily life consist of? What are you happy?
In the winter it's a bit crap. In the summer, you're a millionaire. I'm a millionaire in the summer.
The man obviously valued his freedom greatly, but at a cost I don't think everyone would be willing to pay.
The only one I dream of, still the one I kiss. Good nights. So glad we made it. Yeah, we come, my baby. I just took the long way. We get there someday. I said, I bet you never yet. But just look at what's going on. Yeah, we're still together, still going strong.
I travelled to the West London Day Centre to talk to rough sleepers who are getting help and those doing the helping. How long have you been on the streets?
Around 6 months.
46 years.
On and off? 15 years.
I went through the hells of being homeless. I went through the suffering of being homeless. I've been in so much trouble and so much fighting, and it's really awful in the beginning until you know your way around the systems.
You know, this is the center, yeah? This one.
Yeah.
It's very good. I think best one in London.
The important thing is to try to engage with people as soon as they become homeless, to give people as much one-to-one time as you can, and to remember that everybody is an individual and there aren't really stock answers. I think a lot of what's needed to help tackle homelessness would come back to the kind of big society questions of actually getting the community involved, and I'm not quite sure whether the government itself is actually best placed to organise that, but maybe voluntary organisations are pretty well placed.
Well, given what I've learned so far, I thought I'd head over to the Houses of Parliament to get some answers about what's going on in the country. These people, they make decisions about the country and the levels of homelessness, so I thought this would be a good place to go.
That there is an understanding that part of the role of the state is to ensure that citizens are well housed. From my perspective, you have to tackle this on many different levels, because of course you have to give support in the way that I previously described, in terms of taking people through the quite often quite difficult process of moving from street homelessness through to stable accommodation. But what you also have to do is to ensure that people don't fall through the net and become homeless.
What kind of resources would you need to absolutely just end this problem?
Well, that's beyond my financial capacity to answer that question. I can tell you what you need to do. The first thing that you need to do, you're absolutely right, is to assess the nature of the problem, which I don't think has been done.
In my journey to find out more about the homeless, I stumbled upon a dark reality. These people living in the shadowy underbelly of society were ordinary human beings. Each one was a son or daughter to someone. Each one of them was once loved, and each one of them has dreams.